A deadly fire on the Outer Banks tore apart two families who were renting there in August. 3 people were killed in the fire that happened in the middle of the night.
And that home was nearly 80 years old. Investigative reporter Chris Horn is following up now, looking into how you can ask the right questions when you're thinking about an Outer Banks getaway. Chris?
That's right, Tom. Construction codes are much more fire conscious in recent years. Even so, you'll want to ask some important questions to reduce the risk when you rent. 3 people escaped, but a married couple and a teenage girl all died in this August 11th fire in Kill Devil Hills. It burned quickly. A cause is yet to be determined. We were wondering, were there smoke detectors in the house when the fire started? Fire officials have determined there were working smoke detectors in this house at that time. I wondered how they could do that when this is all that's left of the house. They said they interviewed some of the survivors and they heard the smoke detector go off. The house on the beach road was close to 80 years old when construction regulations were nothing like they are today. Saga Construction has about 40 projects going on right now on the Outer Banks. Project manager John Dunstan was not surprised to see the August fire burn so quickly.
The older homes built in that era were primarily all wood paneling inside, wood flooring.
Now, anything built in the last 20 years or so will have several key protections.
Floor blocking, wall blocking, and the framing process that prevents air from moving from space to space. The drywall and taping and mudding of shafts, enclosed spaces.
Larger projects will also have another layer of protection against loss of life: sprinklers.
We have chosen to install it in our larger homes over 6,000 square feet.
That would include these twin projects in Kill Devil Hills that have 22 bedrooms each. They cater to weddings, corporate events, and larger family reunions. So this is a 4-bedroom, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then there are the more common properties.
Right here, this little gathering spot, we actually have 2 smoke detectors in each bedroom.
Tim Cafferty owns Outer Banks Blue, with 300 properties on the Outer Banks and more than 100 in Sandbridge.
I feel like I'm responsible for the safety of our guests, and we could have as many of 3,000 guests in our houses over any given week.
That means fire extinguishers and smoke detectors that are both battery and hardwired, so if one goes off, they all go off. Cafferty says state code requires rental managers to change smoke detector batteries at least twice a year, but his company does it much more often, every time there's a new renter. So you might be checking smoke detectors dozens of times a year, correct?
Absolutely, some more than 30 times. With some of these houses rent 30 or more weeks. The informed consumer is very important.
So here are the pro tips for checking out a property before you check in.
Are the smoke detectors hardwired in the home? That way you have both the hardwire and the backup of the battery. How often are the batteries changed in the smoke detectors? What are the exit points in the house? How many exit points are in the house?
For it to be called a bedroom, you have to have 2 ways of ingress and egress. One, of course, the door. The second would be a window. So if you see someone advertising a bedroom that has one of the casement windows that's 6 inches wide, that actually shouldn't be advertised in that manner.
And if it's a larger home,
does the home have fire sprinklers?
Ultimately, it's all about safety.
and Tim Cafferty says when you do contact the rental management company and ask these questions, any staff member who deals with the public should have answers that are both straightforward and readily available. We have the list of questions on wavy.com. Chris Horn, 10 on your side.